Vikings be cutting Lewis Cine from the final 53-man roster? Yes, former first-round pick Lewis Cine. Could he be getting cut? We'll dive into that as it's looking more likely than not that actually Lewis will not be making this team. And then also second half of today's show, my favorite part of what we do here at Chat Sports, we answer questions straight from you guys as a part of a mailbag that we do on our weekly live show. So that's coming up in just a second. But before that, guys, our bosses actually challenged us before we hopped in the studio today. He said, I want to see how many skull comments you get. And then I said, how many skull comments you want? They said 200. So if you guys could help me out, give me the skulls down in the chat. I want this comment section to look like U.S. Bank Stadium on game day. Spam it. Type it as many times as you want. And I'll show you guys some love down below and help me avoid a little awkward meeting with my bosses. I would really appreciate it. So let's break it down. Are the Vikings cutting Lewis Cine? As Lewis Cine is, I don't want to say I was completely wrong about him, but I absolutely loved him coming out of Georgia. Hard-hitting safety, can play in the box, can play in the deep halves. Like, he really could do it all. He just hasn't had a chance to do so in the NFL, and he's really, I think the stat is he only has gotten 11 defensive snaps in regular season games for the Minnesota Vikings. So we really don't even know who he is as a player. But why he could not be making this roster is he's fighting an uphill battle. And, Camryn Bynum, Harrison Smith, Josh Metellus, they're all making the team. But then you got Theo Jackson. Then you got Jay Ward. And then we'll actually talk about Najee Thompson here in a little bit, but he might be in the safety department. Let's just say the Vikings keep 4 or 5 safeties. Lewis Cine is on the outside looking in. I will make this note. The Vikings did keep 6 safeties last year, which was a ridiculous amount. I don't know if they'll do the same this upcoming year. But, the Vikings already have their big 3 of safeties, of Camryn Bynum, Harrison Smith, and Josh Metellus. And all 3 of these guys are just frankly fantastic. Like, you talk about Camryn Bynum here first, like of this big 3 group that we have for the Vikes. Like, Camryn Bynum's, his emergence at the safety position has done wonders for this team. Like, him being drafted as a cornerback, shifting the safety, and then you had the perfect fit for him in Brian Flores being his defensive coordinator. It was great. Josh Metellus, I think if Brian Flores had to pick players that, he likes coaching the most or he thinks is the most valuable, I bet you Josh Metellus is up there on that list. He's probably got guys like Kyle Van Noy, even Andrew Van Ginkel as well on there. But in terms of just versatile football players, he's a great fit. You guys know what Harrison Smith's all about, even at the age, I think he's 36 right now, and he is still effective. Obviously, he is not the same, or he's 35. Obviously, he's not the same guy that he once was. No doubt about it. He was one of the best safeties in the league, but he's still a very intelligent player. Can still get it done at the high level, and he's still in the top half of safeties in the league. So they have the big 3 here. And also this, I wouldn't be shocked if this summer, if Camryn Bynum and Josh Metellus both get an extension. I understand Metellus did get extended last offseason, but that only goes to 2025. Maybe the Vikings want to get him on the books for a couple more years. And then Camryn Bynum, you're going to want to lock this guy up because these two, just the tackle numbers are ridiculous here. Obviously, Flores, he asked his safeties to tackle more than any coordinator by far in the National Football League. But still, Camryn Bynum putting 137 tackles. Josh Metellus, 116. Both having some sack production. The PBU's great. 7 TFLs for Josh Metellus is absolutely ridiculous at the safety spot. And these two, are just fantastic. And they're fantastic fits with what Flo likes to do. And also this, we got a report. Apparently, Najee Thompson is going to try to switch over to safety. If you guys don't know, Najee Thompson was a UDFA last season for the Vikings. Special teams demon. He is a strict gunner in the league, and he is so good at it that obviously the Vikings gave him a roster spot for the whole year. But apparently, he's going to be playing safety. So if you have Cine, or if you have Smith, Bynum, Metellus, Ward, Jackson, and now Najee Thompson, even if the Vikings keep 6, I still think Lewis Cine is on the inside or on the outside looking in. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But you guys let me know. Would you cut Lewis Cine? Give me a C for cut or give me a K for keep down in the chat. I'm probably keeping him. It would stink to cut a first-round pick. But, there might just not be a spot for Lewis Cine on this roster. Now let's dive into the mailbag, my favorite part of our channel here at Chat Sports. First question coming in from DumDum24 saying, do you think Andrew Booth Jr. will make the team? So this is another high draft pick under Kwesi that may be on the outside looking in. I'm going to say no. I think the Vikings keep 5 corners of Blackman, Griffin, Murphy. You're going to keep Kyrie Jackson. I guess maybe he could. I guess if Najee Thompson's playing safety now, I'll actually switch it. I'll say yes. I actually think Najee Thompson switching positions might dictate who makes and who doesn't make the Vikings roster between Andrew Booth Jr. So I'll probably say yes. Yes, he does. Bobby Wags coming in saying any chance the Vikings sign Michael Thomas. Yeah, more wide receiver 3 talk here. I'm gonna say no. I don't think Michael Thomas is gonna want to come in here and, be a wide receiver 3 for Minnesota. Maybe he will, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but I could see him going to somewhere else. Like, the one team that I keep popping up in my head that I think is gonna sign him is the Los Angeles Chargers. He could go have big time production there. They don't even have a true wide receiver 1 right now on their team. So keep your eyes out on the Chargers signing Michael Thomas. But for the Vikings, I would love if they did it on a super cheap deal, but I just don't know if Michael Thomas wouldn't want to accept that role here in Minnesota. And we got more questions from you guys coming up in a second. But if you guys click this link, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey, we'll get your Vikings J.J. McCarthy jersey today, rocking the number 9. Absolutely love it. I already got mine. I got an all-white jersey. It's awesome. So if you guys want to get one of the hottest jerseys, that will be rocked at US Bank Stadium this offseason, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. EV coming in saying, should the Vikings trade for John Metchie? I think it's the third. I'm going to say no. I just don't think the Vikings are in a spot to give up any future draft capital for a position that, wide receiver 3, some people think it's, needed, some people don't. But, in terms of giving up future draft capital, I'm going to say no on that. Loved him coming out. He's got a really cool story, but I just don't think the Vikings are in position to do so. Ignite Edit saying, what would happen if Sam Darnold does terrible? Let's just say first 4 weeks, it is a disaster. Vikings are 0-4. He's thrown for 3 touchdowns, thrown for 10 interceptions, and, literally he cannot play. I actually think if that's the situation, I think Nick Mullins gets thrown in to be quarterback before JJ does, and then they roll out and just see what they have with Nick Mullins, give JJ a couple extra weeks to develop. But I actually don't think if it's throughout the first 6 weeks of the year, then it's just JJ's going in there and playing. This is going to be a process. Vikings are going to be able to take their time with this. So if he's terrible, I think they go Nick Mullins first, and then if he is terrible, JJ will play eventually this season. They're not going to roll Nick Mullins out for the rest of the year. I mean, the fan base would absolutely erupt, but yeah, I think they would go Nick Mullins first. Eric Mott saying QB controversy if Sam Darnold balls out. Yeah, so I've been thinking about this, hypothetically. Let's just say Sam Darnold has a Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff resurgence, and he leads the Vikings to the playoffs and they win a playoff game. He will be the quarterback next year. I promise you that. I don't think the Vikings would move off that fast if he is that good, this season. But yeah, Eric, I definitely think there would be a quarterback controversy if Darnold balls out. No doubt about it. That would be a lot of fun to talk about. I feel like this fan base would get split in half if that's the case. But, honestly, if that would be a great situation for the Vikings. That would be a great problem to have if Sam Darnold goes and balls out this season. Skull Nation saying, I'm going to a Vikings game in Giants Stadium. That's awesome for you. Saying, what are some tips on how to avoid crazy Giants fans? Tips to avoid crazy Giants fans. I'm gonna say just don't be talking too much. Don't be talking to or too much smack to anybody bigger than you. But I mean, Giants fans, I don't think they're as crazy as Philly fans. If you're going to Philadelphia, I tell you not to go there. That's a terrible city, terrible football fan base. But Giants fans who should be good, obviously they're probably going to hit you with the comeback of, oh, we just beat you in the playoffs. Sam Darnold already beat you. So, expect that. But Skull Nation, have fun. That sounds awesome. EV saying Vikings should trade for Miles Sanders or sign him when he gets released. Interesting thought. Definitely not trading for him, but signing him, I wouldn't hate it. But again, I'm in the camp. I want to be Ty Chandler, Aaron Jones. That's the 1-2 punch I want. And then you got your gadget guy of Kene Nwangwu. So I just don't think the Vikings are making a play at the running back position. I should probably do a video of some guys that could get cut that the Vikings could sign. So keep your eyes out on that one. Riley Sullivan saying, how confident are you with our secondary in specifically the high-flying NFC North? Great question. I personally am not all that. We do compensate with a nasty pass rush. Yeah, okay, so great Great question. I think it's a great point, Riley. The NFC North is going to have one of, like, if you had to accumulate the 4 teams and just talk about their passing attacks, like the NFC North is the best passing division in the entire NFL, and that's even going up against, like, obviously the Chiefs division with, Mahomes and Herbert. I still think there's better passing attacks in this division. And you just think about the receivers. I mean, the Bears now with Rome, Keenan Allen, they still have DJ Moore, like the Lions, Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams. The Packers, in my opinion, have the most underrated receiving group in the entire NFL. So how confident am I? Not that confident. But you saying I'm personally am, but you're saying the pass rush will compensate for it? That's a good point. Hopefully they won't need to hold up for 4 or 5 seconds. Hopefully it's just 2 to 3, and the Turners, the Grenards, the Van Ginkels are really getting home, so the secondary, just give them that, where they're not guarding for 5 seconds on a play. So, Riley, absolutely great question. Loved it. Shout out to you. But if you guys made it to the end, I asked you guys to spam the skulls at the beginning of today's show. I want to close today's show. Spam those skulls down in the comment section so I know who all the real ones are who, help me out and help me avoid an awkward meeting with my bosses. Give me a skull down below in the chat. Also, Twitter right there, @PatSeeps. If you want more Vikings content in your life, hit me up over there. I'll give you guys a follow back. But thank you guys so much for watching. See y'all next time. Skol Vikes.